6 things you can count on when dealing with a narcissist to get them to bow down to you. Greetings, esteemed audience. We are thrilled to have you back to our YouTube channel where we discuss narcissism, narcissistic relationships, and the process of healing. Today, I have some intriguing information to share with you. We will be linking to additional resources, so keep your eyes peeled. In particular, I will cover 6 telltale phrases a narcissist will use. Listening for these 6 phrases will provide reassurance and assist in understanding you're not alone in your experiences. It is important to note that you may have uttered some of these phrases as well. However, I will explain why you are not a narcissist merely by doing so. Phrase number 1. I'm sorry you feel that way. This phrase is not an apology. It's a form of manipulation. The remedy is simple. Say, I'm sorry, and stop. If you genuinely want to make amends, clarify what you're sorry for. For instance, you could say, I'm sorry for being tardy. I'm sorry for not arriving as planned. Or, I'm sorry for engaging in intercourse with your best friend. Being specific about what you're apologizing for is a form of accountability. However, narcissistic individuals use apologies to gaslight others. When they say, I'm sorry you feel that way, it implies that they're dismissing or downplaying your emotions. It's as if they're suggesting that your feelings are frivolous or disposable, feelings that you can easily swap out. This type of apology reveals a lack of responsibility and accountability. Again, it's worth noting that adopting this form of pseudo-apology alone doesn't guarantee someone is a narcissist. However, when a person uses this tactic, it's critical to step back from the conversation and acknowledge their limitations. Phrase number 2. I don't want to make this about me, but... Here's the reality, just don't make it about yourself. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies find it challenging to be present in a conversation where they are not the center of attention. Even if the dialogue concerns a topic unrelated to them, like someone else's vacation, problem, pet, profession, they struggle to listen to what you or others have to say. However, it's important to note that narcissistic people comprehend how to communicate appropriately. You may be thinking, I've said that before. Am I a narcissist now? Don't fret. Using this phrase by itself does not necessarily denote narcissistic behavior. It's merely a small part of a larger pattern that also includes arrogance, a lack of empathy, self-importance, entitlement, and a relentless need for approval. Unless you display these other traits, you're only ensuring that you don't overstep boundaries in someone else's discussion and allow them to voice their thoughts. However, narcissistic individuals primarily use this phrase as a facade to appear empathetic and self-aware while redirecting the focus to themselves. They say, I know it's not about me, but soon after, they shift the attention towards themselves. Recently, I attended a work dinner with someone who flaunted narcissistic traits, and he used this exact phrase to draw attention to himself. It would have been better if he was truthful from the start, allowing me to navigate the conversation differently. Narcissists frequently hijack a conversation, leaving no room for others to speak. If you share a perspective that you then link to the other person's life, it isn't considered an act of narcissism. However, taking advantage of the situation and solely focusing on your experience without considering the other person's standpoint isn't acceptable. Phrase number 3. Why are you treating me like this? In a narcissistic relationship, the tendency of the narcissist to consistently depict themselves as victims is a severe challenge. This particular statement often follows simple requests or inquiries, such as inquiring about what transpired the previous evening, requesting child care assistance, or formulating plans to help a family member over the weekend. These trivial demands are seen as personal insults by narcissistic individuals, as if you were going after them with your most basic needs. The question, "Why are you treating me like this?" comes up often. It's not only about questioning your conduct, since they also want to be the center of attention. They see themselves as the sun in their own tiny world, and they think the world revolves around them. Asking someone, "Why are you treating me like this?" is unnecessary. Most individuals are not entirely aware of their reasons, and even if they were, some people would choose not to express them out of respect for others, or because doing so would be against the law, as could be the case at a place of employment where open criticism of colleagues is prohibited. Typically, narcissists who have a persistent victim mentality and who, as a result, distort or misunderstand what other people say use the statement, "Why are you treating me like this?" To avoid any possible damage or misunderstandings, it is advisable to never say or ask this question to anybody. Phrase number 4. I hope you know who you're messing with. Narcissistic individuals feel secure only when they're the most dominant person in the room. They crave power and intimidation over others. However, some narcissists cross the line and express this sentiment out loud. Years ago, I encountered a malignant narcissist who may have been psychopathic. He was an abhorrent individual and didn't appreciate something I had said. He cornered me in a deserted place where no one could witness his words and said, "I hope you know who you're messing with." Later, he even threatened me with the same phrase over the phone. I was genuinely frightened as he had wealth, power, and a terrifying family. The whole episode wrecked my life for almost a year. Curiously, I was involved with a narcissist at the time, and he ended our relationship because he was terrified of the aforementioned individual. Leaving me exposed was no issue for him. Fortunately, I had the sense to break away from that dead weight of a narcissist to avoid further harm. The person I encountered caused severe damage to my life and mental health, yet he faced no repercussions for his actions. However, he is doomed to exist eternally as himself, which is its own type of punishment. The phrase, "I hope you know who you're messing with," remained with me, and I've heard it repeated by several clients who've dealt with narcissistic relationships over the years. It's crucial to take threats like these seriously. If someone says this to you, take the necessary precautions and protective measures. While you may not be immediately in physical danger, you could face legal threats, negative effects on your reputation or job, or even smear campaigns. Unfortunately, I had to deal with all of these when I sought legal counsel, and I learned that there were no legal remedies available. This is why narcissistic people can often continue their harmful behavior without consequences. In my case, I believe that he moved on to more alluring victims after he was done with me. However, in most cases, when narcissistic individuals use this type of language, they do so to exert their power. This phrase isn't just a warning sign, it's a violent siren. It's entirely unacceptable, ludicrous, and incredibly cruel. Phrase number 5. I just don't have time for this. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies often believe that they are superior, busier, and more important than others. If what you're saying doesn't fit into their schedule, they'll make it clear that they don't have time for it. This dismissal of your concerns or issues is disrespectful. A considerate individual who is also busy would respond with phrases like, "I want to hear more," "I'm running into a meeting, but thanks for sharing," or "I'm sorry I can't stay longer." These responses acknowledge and validate the other's feelings, even if time constraints prevent further engagement. The phrase, "I don't have time for this," frequently arises when the narcissistic person doesn't want to participate in something they aren't keen on, such as having an intense or emotional discussion, or anything that isn't in line with their preferences. It might even be something as simple as hearing a story about someone who is doing better than them. Narcissistic individuals perceive these instances as threats to their ego. While it's true that many of us do have a limited amount of time, there are better ways to express this and gracefully bow out of a conversation. Unless you're making a light-hearted joke without any passive-aggressive vibes, it's best to avoid using this phrase. I'll be truthful. I used this phrase yesterday when my sister told me a silly tale about a family member. I said, "Oh no, I don't have time for this." However, I had a gleam in my eye, and I meant it humorously, as in not again. It wasn't meant to insult or dismiss her. This situation is vastly different from when a narcissistic person says it. Phrase number 6. It's not fair. At around first grade, most people learn that life isn't always fair. Some children may get more frosting on their cupcakes, while others get to be the kickball captain twice. One person may get the purple bicycle you wished for on your birthday. Emotionally and mentally healthy adults have learned to integrate these experiences and know that injustice and inequality can be challenging to deal with. Some may struggle with depression, while others seek change. Some people practice radical acceptance and navigate through inequality. However, narcissistic individuals believe that life must always be fair, and they believe they should get everything they desire, regardless of the situation. Any deviation from that ideal is seen as unjust. They may disregard the fact that others struggle just as deeply as they do. Any hint of unfairness leads to their not fair response. My goal in discussing narcissism and narcissistic relationships isn't to create fairness in a world where it cannot be guaranteed. Instead, I aim to provide clarity on these issues. Thank you again.
The conclusion in this video, the relationship dynamics between empaths and narcissists. Empaths are kind-hearted individuals who often attract narcissists due to their willingness to help and validate others. However, narcissists can exploit empaths by manipulating their emotions and using their personal information against them. Empaths need to be cautious when interacting with narcissists to avoid getting trapped in manipulative relationships. Unfortunately, many sensitive individuals fall victim to narcissist manipulation, leading to low self-esteem, gaslighting, and dependency. The article introduced the concept of super empath, who possess heightened intuition and are immune to narcissist manipulation. The super empaths are self-aware, confident, and have a strong sense of identity. They can see through the face of narcissists and outsmart them. However, not all individuals with narcissist personality disorder, or NPD, will cause harm, but it is still important to be cautious. Super empaths are attentive to detail and remember both positive and negative aspects of interactions. They have the intelligence and effectiveness to counter narcissists using their empathy and understanding of vulnerabilities, while empaths may appear naive and incouth. They have a sense of justice and will take a stand when wronged. They value honesty and transparency and will expose the truth to reduce the influence of narcissists. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.